Three, two, one. What's up, Capoeira Nation? What's up? Have you subscribed to the YouTube channel? Have you? Because there we have so much information, or I have a lot of information. Let Actually, I'll take that back. Us as a Capoeira community, we have a lot of information there for trips, vlogs. It was super fun to travel, to keep traveling, to connect with the Capoeira community around us here in the Midwest, and a little bit on the west, on the east, in the west. Um, I meant to say east. So uh, I'm passing really quick. Really, I'm gonna make this episode really quick because I wanna share this with you guys, with the Capoeira community, with whoever is listening. And I was reflecting on myself not too long ago, probably like 10, 15 minutes ago, where I was thinking, in the capoeira community, we have to make a lot of sacrifices, right? And sometimes we don't talk about it, sometimes we don't say it, sometimes we don't think about it. And I just want to say, like, can we make sacrifices for capoeira, or have we made sacrifices for capoeira? you know I think each of us has a lot of things that we have sacrificed for us, to put the time, to put the effort, to put the energy into capoeira, because we know, sometimes people say it's an investment, right? It's an investment on yourself, because capoeira makes you feel good. And whenever you come to capoeira, it makes you feel good. I hope is helping you to feel good. And I really hope whenever you go back home, you can be like, man, like, I want to go back to capoeira. This was fun. And it's been a very long road for me, and I just want to share a couple sentences. And if you have here the podcast for the last 2 years, uh and I'm a talker when it comes to the podcast, or when it comes to capoeira. I love and I enjoy talking, and even outside of capoeira, I love talking too much. So, but I building this up, is again, and I'll get back on that some point, right? And during the podcast, that I used to be so introvert, so introvert, that for me to engage in a conversation, it was extremely hard, because I didn't know how to talk. I didn't know how to talk to people. I didn't know how to put words together. I was very shy. I was scared of somebody saying like, "Oh, this guy," or whatever. I was very judgmental of myself, and then I was closing myself to greater things. So, coming back to the sacrifices things, we have to sacrifice something to get somewhere else. And sometimes we don't see it, sometimes we don't understand that, sometimes we don't even pay attention to that, right? So, for example, something as simple, and if we break it down for something so simple, right? Like, you are sacrificing time and energy for you to go from point A to point B. Is There's a sacrifice in between, even if we don't see it, even there's have to be something in exchange. For example, when you go to a capoeira class, right? Let's say you have a meeting with a friend, and you say like, man, I can make the meeting because I have a class today. I have a capoeira event. We're not going to be able to meet up because I have to go to this capoeira event. I already paid. I already got the ticket. So I got it. I'm going to the event, so I'm not going to be able to meet with you. So there's a small sacrifice, right? Or sometimes we work. You say like, I have to take these days off at work so I can make it to this capoeira event, or this capoeira class, or this capoeira demo, because I uh, compromise myself to help my capoeira school grow, right? So we always are making sacrifices in capoeira, outside of capoeira, anywhere. We're always making sacrifices. So, and I'm mentioning the sacrifices because we have to understand how other people are making their sacrifices and how we are making our own sacrifices, so to get some value in capoeira. And as an instructor or as a student, okay, let's take it first, let's step back. As a student, uh I see the sacrifices that my teacher, my instructor, my master is doing for them to teach me something, right? To teach me, to give me value, to give me information, to give me their knowledge, to give me their time. So whenever I see an instructor, a teacher, or a master putting an effort to share the information, I try to absorb as much as I can. Even sometimes I get distractions, but to be present and 100% be there for me to absorb what they're, excuse me, so I can absorb everything they're saying, or at least some words that they're saying, right? So again, my point with this is, we have to help each other. I mean, we have to make sacrifices to get where we want to be. And we want to learn Portuguese, we have to make a sacrifice. We have to make the time, we have to make the effort. And sometimes we say, yeah, I want to learn Portuguese, but we don't put the effort. And then it's 6 years later and you're still learning Portuguese, and you're still saying, I'm going to learn Portuguese for the last 6 years, but have you made the sacrifice of your energy, of your time, for you to actually learn Portuguese? Or I'm gonna make, for example, myself, I want to get my backflips to get back, right? So I want to be able to do a backflip again. I used to do so many backflips until I crash on my head. And if you have seen the video on my Instagram, I'm training again those backflips, but the fear is still there. The fear is still ingrained and seal in my head for me to do the backflip by myself, and at least on the cushion, on the mat, on the trampoline mat. I forgot that it's not trampoline. It's the floor. There's blue, that blue floor where you jump. Um, tumbling floor. So for I'm not able to do yet the backflip in the tumbling floor because I have the fear in my head. Okay. So for me to be able to get that backflip back, I have to sacrifice that fear in my head. I have to sacrifice my how you call this? I forgot the word. Why I forgot the word. So I have to make a sacrifice for me to be able to be able, I'm trying to remember it, to be able to make the sacrifice, right? So sorry, to make the backflip. So we have to make those sacrifices. And we can make those sacrifices for us to get better at whatever we want to do, right? So, and again, I'm putting myself as an example on many of these things, because I wouldn't be saying this if making this episode about can we make a sacrifice for us to get better in capoeira, because if I wouldn't be telling you something that I wouldn't do myself. Okay. So for example, I move, I made so many sacrifices to be where I am right now. For me to be able to do this episode here in the podcast. If I don't make those sacrifices, I wouldn't be here. I met my wife back in 2012. Her parents gave me the opportunity for me to move to the US. I moved to the US, but at the moment I say yes, I'll accept your offer of helping me. They made their sacrifice for me to be able to be here, and I made my sacrifices for me to be able to be here. So I made, at the moment I say yes, I'm going to move to the US. I sacrifice my family. I sacrifice my capoeira community. I grew up in a very tight capoeira community. very, very big capoeira community. And, we can make another podcast about this. And if you want to know a little more, be free to ask me too, like, hey, how was your capoeira community where you grew up? Uh, my capoeira community, my friends, has so many friends, so many friends, because our capoeira community was huge in Venezuela. And I made all those sacrifices. And, when I moved to the US, then I had to make the sacrifice for me to learn English, for me to, I had no English, no English at all. The only words, and there's a couple words that I won't be able to say here because they are bad words. So it's, I love you, bathroom, hungry, kiss. What else? Sleep. Man, probably the fu word, and the poop word, but the bad word. So those 8 words, no, 7 words, 7 words I know when I moved to the US. So, and it was a sacrifice, it was extremely hard. And sometimes, we don't see those sacrifices that people do. When, when we see, when they are already there, so we see this little window we see from people, but we don't see all the sacrifices that they made for them to be here. It has been 8 years for me learning English. I'm still learning English. I still make very bad mistakes in English when I talk, when I cross words. Like, for example, I still get confused with the is and it's. I don't know when to use it. Sometimes I get confused with the in and on. Sometimes I get confused on using that. So sometimes when I ask a question, I put it backwards. I put some words backwards. So I'm still learning, and is nothing wrong with you saying, making mistakes, and understanding that you are still in the process of learning, and not beating up yourself because you're learning. Because then, as soon as you start beating yourself up because you're learning, because you're not getting it, that's a moment, that's the very first moment when you stop, or you slow down. You don't stop, but you slow down the process of learning. So be patient. And those sacrifices in the future are gonna mean something else, that when you look back, and you are going to be like, oh man, I did all that. I made it happen. And like, man, 9 years ago, I wasn't thinking I would have a podcast speaking in English. I will be teaching capoeira in English. I wouldn't be working in the US. I wouldn't be making this living here in the US and improving myself, because there's another projects outside of capoeira, and some skill sets that I'm acquiring outside of capoeira for me to improve my life regarding of capoeira, and not regarding of capoeira, regarding my life, right? So I'm making other sacrifices for me to be able to build this skill set for me to improve my life, because I know once I improve my life, that's going to help me to, guess what, my capoeira. So I can use the free time and acquire more free time for me to be able to improve my capoeira. So my capoeira, and also improve my students, also help the capoeira community, because that's my goal, for me to improve the capoeira community. And because each teacher, each maestres, each instructor, each person that teaches class that comes to the capoeira community, they're improving the capoeira community. We all together are improving the capoeira community every day. So once again, back to the sacrifice thing, we have to be considered. Sometimes I see people, like, for example, I see so many people saying and talking bad things about successful people, that are, very high level successful people, and they're saying like, oh yeah, they got lucky, oh yeah, they made it happen because they lucky. you know doesn't matter how you look like, doesn't matter where you come from. If you don't put the work on, if you don't make your sacrifices, you're not gonna get anywhere. We have to sacrifice something, and we cannot be. So by the time, even by us coming together to judge this person to be successful, we're making sacrifice. We're sacrificing our time, we're sacrificing our energy to come to judge this person because this person looks is having the life they have. And how can I make my own sacrifices? How can I make these? What sacrifices can I do right now for me to be able to get there? What sacrifices they made? You know, Again, we see that little window. We see that little. Oh yeah, they there because they lucky. But 20, 30, 10 years of really hard work and sweat and tears and stress, a lot of stress for somebody to get where they are. Again, when I moved to the US, my harder years was my first 2 years of my entire life. Headaches every single day because I was trying to learn English, because I wanted to be able to communicate with people, to talk to people, to talk to everybody in this country, to talk to, I can talk to any single person in this freaking country. I can go from Spanish to English. And a lot of people here, if they don't speak English, they speak Spanish. And of course, don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of people that speak different languages, but look it up. Is in statistics what says that Spanish is the second uh, biggest language that is spoken here in the US. But a lot of people, if they don't speak whatever language they speak, they usually speak English. So usually, and at least 90% of the people I can communicate here, either Spanish or either English. If there's another language, I don't know them. I'm saying because those are the two languages that of course, I speak Portuguese, but little group of here in the US compare. I'm saying little group, don't get offended. Little group compared to the entire country. Okay, Latinos, we are a little group here in the US. So my point, my entire point of this podcast is, if I made those sacrifices, if I made, you know, if I put the energy for me to make those sacrifices, you can too. There's a lot of things that we can learn to make our life even better. If I didn't put the time, if I didn't sacrifice what I sacrificed there, I sacrificed many hours of English, for me to be able to speak English. I sacrificed many hours. I think if I put all together, I probably sacrificed years of time that I put for me to be able to speak English. And now, today's days, 2021, Kashishi speak. I have a podcast that have over 1,000 downloads per month. Super happy, super grateful for that. I can communicate with the Capoeira community and in any language. I can be anywhere in the country and I can communicate a past information of the Capoeira, my experience of Capoeira to somebody else. I can, I can support the Capoeira community and help the Capoeira community. I can teach a class in English and be able to teach these classes for me to pass my information, to pass my knowledge, to pass my Capoeira experience to somebody that is learning that experience, right? Is in the process of learning what I have learned during all these years. So it's about making sacrifices, right? So we have to understand that there's people out there that are making sacrifices for them to be able where they are right now. And there's some people are going to make sacrifices, some people are not going to make sacrifices. But we cannot have a victim mentality when we don't make the sacrifice for us to be where other people are, for us to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish if there's no sacrifice. So for me to be able to sacrifice, to sorry, for me to be able to accomplish the goals I want to accomplish, I have to make sacrifices. So I highly encourage you to think, to rethink on yourself and be like, okay, let me see where I'm not making sacrifices, or what kind of sacrifices I'm making for me to be where I am right now. So is, you know, to get better at your capoeira, to you have to make sacrifices. To understand capoeira, to understand the history of capoeira, you have to make sacrifice, because you're sacrificing the time, 1 hour of your day for you to study history, or you're sacrificing 1 hour of your day for you to train capoeira, or if you're, you know, sacrificing an hour of your day for you to read a book about whatever. And those sacrifices are going to come in the future, and they are going to tell us, okay, if I sacrifice this, because I sacrifice this, I can obtain this. And little sacrifice by little sacrifice is going to get us where we want to be. So I highly, highly, highly recommend you to write it down, take notes of the thing that you have sacrificed for you to be where you want to be, and then write down the things that you can sacrifice, or your goals. Write down your goals and be like, okay, I want to get here. I want to be able to do 100 armadas in 20 minutes. Okay, what can I do? I want to be able to fit in 1 minute 50 armadas. What I need to sacrifice, or what do I need to do to get there? How is the question? How do I get there? How can I get there? Instead of why I'm not there. Okay, completely different approach. So I get so passionate about this because I want to get better, man. I want to get better. I want to improve. I want to improve my life, because again, I think about myself 10, 15 years ago, and I wasn't making enough sacrifices for me to get better. So I was lacking. I was sleeping. I was not literally sleeping, but I think the saying is like sleeping on my morals and like laurels, and like florals. I don't know, but I was too slow, man. Then now, after my 26, 27 years, I'm 35 now. Sorry, no, after my 30s, when I hit my 30s, that's when I realized, like, I'm too slow, man. I'm too slow, bro. I'm too slow. What I am doing. So I was like, it's time, Kashishi, to push. It's time to push. And it's time to get better. Come on, let's go. We got to go now. So now, after my 30s, the last 5 years, now you know my age. For these 5 years, I've known that there's so much that I can do, man. There's so much I can do. There's so much that I haven't accomplished. There's so much that I can accomplish. Now I'm like, I want to go for my full potential, bro. I want to learn. And I want to improve. I want to grow. And the best for us to grow and to get where they want to be, or where we want to be, say for me, through sacrifices. Okay. So let's think, let's write it down, where we want to be, what we want. I want to do 10 armadas. Okay. I can do 8 now. Okay. How can I get to 10? I need to add those 2 more. Okay. How can I add it? Oh, man, I get 10. Okay. How can I get to 15? And then how can I get to 20? Oh, I got a 20. Okay. I want to do 30 now. So always improving, right? So I got, man, I was writing down now that I mentioned this, I was writing down this year my accomplishments or our accomplishments here in the Capoeira Indianapolis is here Capoeira Brazil Indianapolis, led by Capoeira Isolito Kashishi, which is me, and Mestre Mindinho. Okay, and what have we done here? Look, I have my first bachizado. That was this year. I had six open hodas this year. Sorry. And I had what else? 6 trips, about to be 7, because we're going to Milwaukee next week. 6 trips, 7 trips, sorry. 7 trips this year. 7 trips, man. Seven trips. I've seen a lot of people out there saying that, oh, no, I don't travel. Hey, we gotta travel. That's another topic. And a capoeira workshop, which is going to be this weekend. It should be happening right now. I do this pre-recorded. I post this. This podcast should be coming on Saturdays. So the workshop should be happening right now. By the time you are listening to this podcast, by the time today, Saturday 9th of 2021, right now, at this moment, if you're listening to the podcast today, when it's coming out today, if you're listening to this podcast sometime in the future, you missed it because this awesome workshop with Mestre Cabezon is happening this Saturday. Today is happening this workshop with Mestre Cabezon. Every year, bro, every year, we are going to be having all this. We're going to be having workshop at the beginning of the year and a bachizado at the end of the year. So, hear me out. Capoeira Indianapolis 2022 workshop, open hadas, trips, and bachizado 2022. Don't miss it, okay? Be tuned, stay tuned for more of these episodes. I'm bringing on some amazing capoeiristas, and by amazing capoeiristas, I'm not talking about level who does more backflips, who can do 200 PRG miles. I'm not talking about those kind of stuff. I'm about every single capoeirista to come to this, to share the experience. They're amazing, including yourself that listening to this podcast. Okay, we are all amazing. Okay, so stay tuned for more stuff on 2022. This is going to be an awesome year for everybody in the capoeira community. We are going to be tighter. We're going to grow as a community. We're going to get together as a community. We're going to help each other as a community. Again. We cannot be a community if we are not helping each other grow, if we're not helping each other push each other. Come on, man. We got to help each other, man. We got this. Let's do it, okay? But let's do it together, all right? Come to Indianapolis anytime. Even if we don't have an event, please come to Indianapolis, visit us, come to our hadas, and come to our classes, come to our events. It's going to be so fun because you're going to see the process from the very beginning. If you know me before 4 years ago, you know only the capoeira community here, it was only me and my wife, only 2 of us training. But if you are in the capoeira community now and you come here, you're going to see the process of us growing from 2 people. Now I believe we are 12 to 15. I have a couple of students that go back and forth because they have their schedule, they have their life. So we are about 15. I think we're about 15, 12 to 15. Okay. So please join us anytime. Keep in mind that 2022 has so much for us, so much to offer. In 2022, more workshops, more open hadas, and more capoeira bachizados. Okay. Save the time I haven't posted the bachizado yet, but I will soon. So keep in mind that our bachizado is going to be at the end of the year. When? I don't know yet. But keep an eye on this because the Capoeira Experience Festival is coming to you in this beautiful, beautiful martial arts that we all love. Okay. Let's do it. Let's support each other. I got so excited. All right. Perfect. I think it's a good timing. All right. Cool. I'll see you guys on the YouTube channel. I'll hear you guys in the podcast. And I will see you guys in person because I want to meet you in person too. I want to see you traveling. I want to see you either. I will meet you. If you listening to this and you listen to a podcast, please approach me and let me know that you're listening because I want to meet you. Okay. And if we see in person, come to me and be like, Kashishi, I hear your podcast, man. This is so awesome. Okay. And let's share your experience. Okay. So, man, I got so excited. Cool. I just wanted to share those ideas. I just wanted to share those words. I hope you make some sacrifices for the capoeira community for you to grow. Okay. Not just in capoeira, outside of capoeira too. Let's grow all together. Let's grow big. Let's blow up. Okay. Let's do it. This is your host, Instructor Kashishi from Capoeira Brazil, Indianapolis. I really hope you're enjoying this podcast. If you haven't listened to the last 106 episodes, go back and listen because there's so much information there. Okay. I'm peacing out. I'll see you guys next time. Okay. Peace.